How fancy is that? You guys are called the international panel because this is what we talk about. This is what we talk about. Hey, Brexit, Corey, I mean, I'm sure you're with me that you hoped and pray we'd see it, but it's pretty sweet tomorrow. I might even have to watch it all unfold live on BBC, a little bit of Sky News, the whole box and dice. It's pretty extraordinary stuff.
It's a wonderful triumph, and it's a triumph for democracy because the British people voted for Brexit, and the impediments and the barriers were put up by politicians who didn't want to respect their views. And let me tell you, I think it's a triumph for characters like Nigel Farage, whom have been battling to get out of the European Union for the last 2 decades or so. And I remember when I met with the former chairman of UKIP, that's his previous party, and they later went on to Brexit, they said our role is to push the Tories in the right direction, and by crikey they did.
You know, what was extraordinary, I've seen some footage to the European Parliament overnight. A lot of EU MPs, British MPs indeed, they were, you know, crying in their beer about the thought of leaving the European Parliament, James. But Nigel Farage, he, you know, couldn't wipe the smile off his face. He's about the only MP I know, Corey, that's voted himself out of office. He was waving around the Union Jack at one stage and got booted out by the Speaker. I think I might have a bit of a grab I can show people at home.
We love Europe. We just hate the European Union. It's as simple as that. So I'm hoping this begins the end of this project. It's a bad project. It isn't just undemocratic, it's anti-democratic. I know you want to ban our national flags, but we're going to wave you goodbye, and we'll look forward in the future to working with you as sovereign.
If you disobey the rules, you get cut off. Could we please remove the flags? Mr. Farage, could we remove the flags, please?
That's it. It's all over. Finished. We've gone.
Could I please ask for quiet?
Yeah, look, it gets even better the more I watch it, James.
Oh, look, I mean, that was so good. And you know what I loved? There was that one moment where that sort of Nurse Ratched figure who was down in the lower right corner, she wasn't part of the UK delegation, was just sneering. And she was so angry that this whole thing had happened. And that speaker who was furious. But I think, just to amplify on what Corey was saying just now, this is also a great victory, I think, for the EU and the rights of the democratic nation state over technocratic, soulless, global liberalism, which is what I think the EU was absolutely made flesh, and which tried to suck the UK with all of its proud history, proud traditions, which are not continental traditions, but its own system of law, its own systems of government that don't have anything to do with the way they do things in Europe, that tried to suck them into that. This is a great victory for that independent state, and I think for independent states everywhere, against this push towards putting democracies into these ever less democratic federations which become ever more removed from the people.
Yeah, this was a real win for sovereignty, a return of sovereignty. There's a mad panic, obviously, in the EU, particularly amongst the Germans. I talked about it last night with the economic panel about the fact that will this now mean a real push by other nation states, Italy, Greece, Spain and others who have been economically damaged by being inside the EU? Are they all going to walk? It's something we're going to all watch very closely. I'm sure in Brussels they'll watch it very closely.